Hello everyone, welcome back to the video. In this video, we are going to have a quick look at monolithic type of systems. This is basically a type of system that came before the microservice movement. There are large systems that almost do opposite of microservices that are trying to achieve. So typically monolithic system is basically your type of enterprise application, and this application might be in the form of large websites with all the modules packed in together into one package, or it could be in the form of service which talks to the website, and the service itself is a large service with all the modules packed together as a one executable file. The key characteristics is as you add stuff to your application, it keeps on growing. There is no restriction in the size, there is no division, there is always one package which basically contains everything, and therefore you also end up with large code base. And because the code is so large, it might also take the team longer to develop new functionality within the application. It also difficult to make changes without affecting the other parts of the system, as there is a so much interdependent code, and therefore testing also takes longer. Development of large system can also be challenging because even for a small bug fix, you have to deploy a new version of entire system, and therefore that creates a greater risk because there is so much interdependent code. There might be functionality in one of our modules within our overall package that might be useful to an external system, but it is hidden within our monolithic application. It might not be exposed via the service, and you might have this feature is there which is not accessible because it is one large code base. We are also stuck with one technology stack. There might be new technology that, for example, in our example, our discount part of our system could do with using, but it's a new technology which is different from our current technology stack. But because discount part of the overall package, we can't use that new technology within the discount module. It might our overall system less competitive because we can't easily adopt new technologies which might give us competitive edge. And because all the code is in one large package, we might also have high levels of coupling, which is basically means if I change one part of the system, it might affect the another part of the system because the code is interdependent. And this kind of coupling be present between the modules, and it might also be present between the different services. So one large service might be interdependent with another large service because if we change the signature of one service, it will affect the other service. And because it is one package, if the part of the system fail, it could affect the whole system. For example, if the catalog process gets stuck, it might affect the functionality of overall services. It might degrade the performance of the overall service also. Even scaling up the application service meets the demand is quite inefficient. If, let's say example, the order aspect of the system is in high demand, we would have to create a copy of whole package of whole service in order to scale up just for order section. This is basically means we need to buy more powerful server every time we need, whenever we need to scale up, because there are forced to scale the entire services up instead of just a part which we need to scaling up. And because of the footprint of the application is so large, we might actually need to buy resources in order to run the entire application. We might have to place the service of the single server each time. When we do a make or when we make a code change to actual service, the time to compile the entire application will also be longer because they're just more code and there is a more units to test to run against the entire code base. The only advantage of monolithic application has over a if you compare between the microservice and monolithic application, there is an advantage with the monolithic application. You can run the entire code base in one machine. So we are developing, testing, we properly replicate entire environment on our machine because it is just one thing to replicate and configure. In this example, we have a website application which packages all the other modules from our system within one package. So this could be ASP.NET MVC site where the website itself is, is in the UI layer. Then in the business layer, you have the SC services, discount services, order services, and so on, which have the classes related to each section. So even though you are using the namespace to divide the code within our package, the code might be still quite interdependent and strongly coupled. So changing in one aspect might affect the another aspect. So changing in the S3 service might negatively affect the order service. For example, you might change the signature of one method in S3 service class, and because you have changed the signature, now you have to refactor the code in one of the order services class, or some other classes and discount service. So this means that changes that only actually relevant to the SC service part of the system is now impacting the other parts of the system. The application might be further coupled by having one database. For example, a schema change within the database, for example, changing the data type of one column might result in several areas of the application requiring to refactor the database. You can probably see now why deployment times are longer within the monolithic system and why deployment is such challenging. There is also a great risk. Thanks for watching video. We'll meet in the next videos. Thank you.